Hi, my name is Taylor Fagerson, and this is my presentation for my midterm project. First, I want to apologize. We have some home renovation projects happening in our home. So if you hear hammering or sawing in the background, I do apologize for that. My midterm research project is on organizational culture. What is culture? Is it the rights and traditions of a country? Is it the pursuit of the arts and sciences? These statements are correct, but culture has a much broader meaning. The cultures we are surrounded by influence our view of how we interact with the world. Any group of people will form a culture, as a culture is created by beliefs, social values, traditions, history, heroes, legends, and rituals of a people. Families form cultures, schools form cultures, towns and cities do too. Organizations like companies and businesses also form cultures. In week 7, the introductory presentation, Brother Embry said, "If you want to understand an organization, you have to understand the culture." We can think of an organization's culture like the way an anthropologist would view their studies. An organization is a system of knowledge, values, beliefs, ideals, laws, speech, action, and artifacts. Edgar Schein came up with 5 categories to help the observer understand an organization's assumptions. The first is the assumption about the organization's relationship with the environment. Understand what the employees believe the purpose of the organization is, opportunities and opportunities for success within the organization, and threats to success. Essentially, you need to learn about the environment within the organization. Second, understand the basic assumptions about reality and decision making. Some organizations adhere to the motto, "Well, we've always done things this way," or "Let's try this and see what happens." Third, assumptions about human nature. Does the culture promote the idea that people are naturally good or naturally bad? Fourth, assumptions about the nature of human activity. Should people take action? Should people take things the way they are? And fifth, assumptions about human relationships. How do the individuals within the organizations relate to each other? Terence Deal and Alan Kennedy, authors of Corporate Cultures, believe that there are 4 types of corporate cultures. The first is the tough guy macho culture. Employees take risks and receive immediate feedback as to whether they were successful or failed. This environment fosters competition, pitting employees against each other as they watch each other for weaknesses. This is a high-stress culture. The second is a work hard, play hard culture. This type of organization fosters relationships through teamwork and high volume output. This is a pretty low-stress environment with low risks. The third is the bet your company culture. These companies move through processes slowly and deliberately. The cornerstone of these organizations are the business meetings. Employees are making big, important decisions, paying close attention to the details. This is not a risk-taking environment. And the fourth is a process culture. Focus is placed not on what the output is, but on the process. This ends up turning unimportant and trivial things into big things. It's important to remember that these 4 types are just outlines for the basic trends Deal and Kennedy saw in their research. Not all corporations are so one-sided. Different divisions within the same organization might have different cultures. Hypergrowth firms. I recently learned about this idea of hypergrowth firms or corporations, and I was really intrigued. So what are they? Hypergrowth corporations are a more recent phenomenon, usually associated with the tech giants of the Silicon Valley. The Harvard Business Review coined the term hypergrowth in 2008. It refers to firms that are experiencing growth at a tremendous rate. They're achieving annual revenue growth of 40% or more. A normal company achieves sustainable growth between 0 to 30% annually. These hypergrowth firms achieve this growth because they focus on streamlining their processes. For an example, the fastest growing company recorded was a Finnish company called Supercell, and it was a mobile gaming business. They were founded in 2011, and just 3 years later were raking in $2.3 billion in revenue. It's nuts. So what creates hypergrowth? What makes a hypergrowth firm? Well, there are 3 characteristics. One is scalability. meaning that these businesses reduce every opportunity that the consumer has to say no. And they make the product as streamlined as possible. The second is um, tech as a means to agility. So these companies are skilled in technology and software. They recognize that this is an asset to their business. Keeping up to date on the newest things is really important. Hypergrowth companies are hungry for data, and that data drives adaptation. And then the next one is talent. So rather than looking for employees with the best skill, their resume matches, all the checklists in the interview, they are looking for recruits who have the best attitude. After learning about hypergrowth firms, I became really interested in how organizational culture drives hypergrowth. Does culture play a major role? I wanted to know if, this was a big thing, or if, the nature of hypergrowth made culture take a backseat. So I did a little digging. Fortune.com presented their list of 2018's fastest growing companies. A lot of things I was familiar with, a lot of things I was unfamiliar with, and I decided to take a closer look at two fast-growing companies that I was familiar with to learn more about organizational culture and fast growth. The first one was Grubhub. This is a popular food delivery app. Grubhub has been on Fortune's list of the 100 fastest-growing companies for the last 2 years. Grubhub puts culture at the forefront of their operations. Human relationships are encouraged. Open office plans allow coworkers to easily see and interact with each other. This fosters good communication and thinking as people are able to share ideas. Creativity is boosted by the work environment. Employees are encouraged to play games and participate in happy hour. And diversity is celebrated. Grubhub depends on diverse opinions to provide well-rounded product offerings. The next fast-growing company is one everybody knows, Netflix, a well-recognized name. This entertainment streaming giant has taken the world by storm since its beginnings as a DVD rental firm, and it isn't showing any signs of stopping. With the rate that they're dropping new shows, it's pretty amazing. Netflix is on a mission to change organizational culture. They know their culture is unique, and they recognize that it isn't for everyone. They're upfront with their recruits and let them know, hey, this environment might not be for you, but they're unapologetic in their approach and commitment to building a culture. Netflix believes in putting people over process. The company manifesto says, our version of a great workplace is a dream team in pursuit of ambitious common goals. They put a big emphasis on teamwork and collaboration. They also encourage their people to step up and speak out if they feel they have been marginalized. Netflix lives strictly by its 10 company values, and I mean that strictly. Employees who follow these values to the letter are the ones who are likely to receive promotions. Their 10 values are judgment, communication, impact, curiosity, innovation, inclusion, courage, passion, integrity, and selflessness. Netflix also revolves around the principle of honesty. A quote from their company, I think it's also from the manifesto, says, in the tensions between honesty and kindness, we lean into honesty. No matter how honest, though, we treat people with respect. So people who fit well with the culture thrive at Netflix. Like they said, it's not for everyone. Not everybody loves it there, but the people who fit just really thrive. One senior engineer left a review on Glassdoor.com, and he said, the environment encourages you to be the best version of yourself. So my last example is Sears, and this is not a hypergrowth corporation. In fact, this is a company that's kind of dying out right now. So whereas Grubhub and Netflix have focused a lot of energy on building intention and stimulating cultures, my last example, Sears, has been kind of circling the drain. So it isn't surprising to me to see that where there's business failure, there's also poor business culture. So this is what I learned about Sears. At Sears, the focus has moved away from employees and collaboration. Many employees feel that the current CEO, Eddie Lampert, has driven the company into the ground. A former employee of 41 years said, Lampert has taken this company and with pompous arrogance has destroyed it. Those are pretty strong words. Focus has been placed more on creating lines of credit and loyalty programs in an attempt to keep customers coming back. But Shop Your Way, the loyalty program, only brought long lines, frustrated, angry customers, and frustrated staff, confusion, and poor rewards. As more focus was placed on the CEO's bottom line and his ideas, less was placed on the employees. Many employees feel that their stores are suffering, the stores are nearly empty, and many are in desperate need of repairs. This project was really interesting, and I liked exploring culture, which has always been fascinating to me, but exploring culture within organizations and seeing where organizations thrive and where they don't, and how their culture plays into that. And my research has proven to me that one of the reasons companies like hypergrowth companies are so successful is that they build positive company culture that focus on the people, building trust and building relationships. Organizational culture is not something to take lightly, and it is the beating heart of any organization. Thank you.